you want your sim to look as beautiful and smooth as this, well, then it's time for my VR settings guide for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. In this video I will show you all the tips and tricks, the tools, the apps that I use to get the best performance out of my PC. And it's not a very high spec PC that I'm using. I'm using a 3080, 32 GB of RAM. I've got an i7 7.7K chipset, and I'm getting 30 frames per second in DLAA with a good readable cockpit, and I'm getting 40 frames per second or 45 when using DLSS quality. So if I can do it and you have a better, higher spec computer than I have, well, you will get some better performance than I'm having now. And I'm loving it. It's butter smooth, beautiful, the lights are beautiful, the scenery is beautiful, and I can read every little gouge here in the cockpit. Yes, sometimes, especially for this one, I have to come a little bit closer, but then I can still read the biggest numbers, and that's the most important thing for me. So let me show you what I've done, and also I have something special for users of an HP Reverb G2. I have some tips and tricks and a little tool for them, what they can use to get just a little bit more performance out of the headset. Alright, let's jump into it and start with the first item. Alright, let's start. And first of all, let's check the Nvidia app and make sure that you have the latest driver. So you go here to the left hand side, click on drivers, and as of today, on December the 5th, there's the latest driver 566.36. And if we scroll down below, there are 3 optimal settings profiles for Farming Simulator 25, Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and Stalker Heart of Chernobyl. So then you have the latest drivers. From here you can go to your graphic settings or system. You go to System, Performance, and check Automatic Tuning. With this you can overclock your graphic card safely. Before we start up Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, we want to make sure that we have the latest DLSS driver file. To do that, we're going to use a tool called DLSS Swapper. Once downloaded and installed, and I'll leave the link in the description below the video, you will see this window here. And it will come with all your games that you have installed on your computer. I have only Windows of Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, and you will see that it comes with 2.4.12.0. That's a very old DLSS driver file. To update this one, and if this is your first time, I will take you step by step through it. It's very easy to do, everyone can do it. If you already done this, you can skip to the next chapter. So we're gonna click here on the third icon, and that is our DLSS driver file library. And you can see, you can scroll down and you can see that the 2.4.12 is a very old file. As you see it here, it's version 3, version 2. It's a very old file. We are already at 3.8.10. So you first have to download this driver file. To do that, you just click on the download button right here in the corner. It will download the file for you. Then you go back to your game library. It says games. You click on the picture, on the thumbnail. Then you choose which one you want to have. And if you don't have it, it will say here you have to download it, right? But we just downloaded it. We're gonna click on this one. We're gonna select the top one, and then we're gonna swap the file. And you see it immediately changed to 3.8.10. Now we're done, and we can close this window and go to the next step. When you open the Nvidia control panel, on the first part, 3D settings, adjust image settings with preview, make sure you check this box, use the advanced 3D image settings. You can either take me there or go up here to manage 3D settings. If I click this one, I'll get the same window. I'm coming here at manage 3D settings. So on the global settings, image scaling off, ambient occlusion off, anisotropic filtering set here to 16 times. And you can copy all those things here. And what I have selected here is power management mode, prefer maximum performance. Shader case size is unlimited. Texture filtering, anisotropic sample optimization is on. Negative LOD bias clamp. Texture filtering quality on, performance, trilinear on, and the rest is auto off. And then virtual reality pre-rendered frames 1. From here we can go to the program settings for Microsoft Flight Simulator. So the only thing that I changed here is of course the 16 times anisotropic sample optimization off and negative LOD bias on clamp. Yes, I think the anisotropic filtering optimization that was here on, so I changed that to off. Now, anyhow, those are the most important ones. So I will scroll down slowly so you can read it, make screenshots. Those are my settings for the Nvidia control panel and for the Nvidia app. The next tool I use is the Intelligent Standby List Cleaner, ISLC, which you can see here, and this is the latest version. It's already an old program, and you can download it here from the website, and I will leave the link in the description below this video. What this program does, it says here, the application will monitor and clear the memory standby list according to the configured options parameter you set. So it will optimize your RAM usage. Once downloaded, you just have to run it, and then it will look like this. So you will see here your total system memory. I have 32 gigabytes, so that's 32,603. Your standby list and system working set and free memory. What you will have to do is to set the minimum here, that's 1024 megabytes, and the free memory is lower than, and that's half of what your system has. So if you have 64, set it to 32. If you have 16, set it to 8 or 8000. I have 32,000, so half of that is 16 gigabyte. Next you will set here 0.5, enable the custom timer resolution, and then for Windows 11 users, use the global timer resolution request. You check that one, and then you can check here start ISLC, minimize and auto start monitoring, and launch ISLC on user logon. That's in the task scheduler. And then you just click start, and it will start, and then set the ILS polling rate milliseconds to 500. You can also purge the standby list. It will do it automatically, but you can also purge it. Now you see here it's about 7 gigabyte. Purge it when I clicked on it, and now it's 8. So now it purged the standby list, and it will do this automatically in the background. You won't notice it, and it prevents Microsoft Flight Simulator. It prevents a lot of stutters. So this is also a very handy tool to have to prevent any stutters or lag. Alright, so in Windows we want to change some settings regarding to gaming. First, if you press the Windows key and G, that will show up your game bar. We want to disable this one. So press Windows G again, and then we come here at game bar. So in game bar we're gonna switch this one off, and then in captures we want to switch record what happened and all these other ones off. If you're not using game bar to record anything on your PC, switch those off. Then we go to game mode, and we have game mode switched on. Then we go to graphics, change default graphics settings, and make sure that the hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is on. Now that we have deactivated the game bar in the Windows settings menu, we have to open or start up the game, the sim, and once we've loaded into the game, open the task manager, type in at the top, type here game, and you will find probably Gamebar Precence Writer. If not, you probably have disabled it in the past, but if you find the Gamebar Precence Writer here, we need to deactivate it as well. We can do that here in the taskbar and then end task, but then you have to do that every time you start up the sim. So we're going to do that in the registry editor. So now we're going to open the registry editor. To do that, we're going here down here to the search bar. We're going to type in regedit, and we'll find the registry editor. We're going to open that one. Let me scroll this one back to the top, and we are going to HKey local machine software Microsoft Windows Runtime, and then ActivatableClassId, and then Windows Gaming Gamebar Precence Writer. So from here it's HKey local machine software Microsoft. Then we're gonna scroll down all the way down until we find Windows Runtime. There are a lot of Windows things here, but we need Windows Runtime. Down there is the ActivatableClassId, and then we're gonna scroll down to Windows Gamebar, Windows Gaming, Windows.gaming. You're already almost there. Windows dot. And there's a lot of gaming here. But here is windows.gaming.gamebar.presenceserver.internal.presenceWriter. We see the activation type, and the value is 1. Double click here and we'll see this one here, its value is 1, and we have to change this one to 0, and then click OK. Most likely you're gonna get this error. You cannot do it. That means we have to take ownership of this key. To do that, we're gonna right click, go to permissions, and I'm gonna do it over here. See, I don't have ownership. My name is here, but I have no ownership. I cannot do any full control. Trusted installer, that's Microsoft Windows, they have full control. So we need to get full control. And I can do this, but I cannot apply, and I cannot do it. I don't have full control. So to do that, I have to go to Advanced, or if your name is not in here, you go to Advanced. It's already set to mine, so I can do that, but then and here it would say Trusted Installer. You go to Change, type in your account name. For me, I can do that with Administrator, and your name will be either your email address or your Microsoft account name. So Administrator, check names. Now it's underlined, it says VirtuSim Administrator. I click OK. I'm probably double in here, and then click see it's changed, and click Apply, and then click OK. So we're back in here. Here I am again. I'm gonna say Add, and I'm gonna say the same name, administrator, check names, OK, and then click full control, click apply, click OK. Now we come back here to the activation type. I'm going to go in here, going to say 0, going to say OK, and now it's done. Now it's deactivated, so nothing will write to this one. And then we're just gonna click out of the registry editor. Alright, so the next part is especially for HP Reverb G2 owners. So if you don't have an HP Reverb, you can skip to the next chapter. But first of all, we're gonna go to the Windows settings page, settings menu, and we click on mixed reality. Here we can do the environment settings. You can clear your environment data. We go back one, and then headset display, visual quality of your home, that's in the mixed reality portal, let Windows decide, and 720p. Experience options, optimize for performance, but this is all for your home in Windows Mixed Reality, which we're gonna adjust later on after this section. Positional tracking is off. Display resolution, the best quality, 4320 by 2160. Frame rate 90 Hz. And the sleep timeout I have it set to never, because when I'm not using the headset, I'm just closing out of the HP Reverb Mixed Reality. The next part we need is the OpenXR tools for Windows Mixed Reality. So in the settings page, use the latest preview OpenXR runtime, render scale 200%, motion reprojection disabled, and prefer frame rate over latency. You set this, and then we can close out of that one. The next tool that we are gonna use is Skyspaces. I'll leave the link in the description below this video. The Skyspaces website, www.skyspaces.app, is your custom VR home environment gallery. You can download it here. It's a very small program, and it's especially for Windows Mixed Reality. So what we can do with this program, if I remove this one out of the window, once you've downloaded it and start it up, so here we can choose different rooms when we go into mixed reality. When we go into the headset, we start up the headset, this is where you start. So normally you start in your basic loft, but what we're gonna do here is what we see is I take the Dreamer Cave. You can see the file size is 249 megabytes. Alright, now I go to a house with an open atrium. That file size is only 34 megabytes. Or the abstract futuristic room. Well, this is 0 megabytes. I don't think it's 0 megabytes. I think it's a little bit more. Or it's just less. Or Tokyo City Center is 74. So what you can do is take here the one with the smallest amount of megabytes. And I'll suggest you take the empty room. This is the one I use. So you always end up with a floor and 2 walls. It's only 2 megabytes. What this does is that it frees up memory for your headset, for your HP Reverb. So you don't have to load like a floating island of 8 megabytes or 96 megabytes for a whole city. It's only 2 megabytes. And that will mean you have more headroom in the headset. Free up memory in the headset. And that's better for performance. So you take the empty room and then click install. So if I take another one, I just click install, restart Windows Mixed Reality or the HP Reverb. and that's your mixed reality portal. You have to restart this one, and then it will have this room installed. So you go to empty room, click install, restart the mixed reality portal, and once you go into your portal, you will see this empty room, and you just click to go into VR in the flight simulator, Alt Tab, or another button to go into mixed reality or into virtual reality. The next tip is an extra option in Addon Linker. An Addon Linker is a program that you can manage your add-ons on a separate drive or a separate folder outside your normal community folder, and then it will create links into your community folder. It's very easy to work with all your add-ons that you have, and you can organize them, and it's very easy, even if you go to your libraries, that you can switch things on and off. But that's for another video. The thing that I want to show you here in Addon Linker is when you go to Tools and then Options, you get this window. These are the add-on folder, extra add-on directories that I use. But if you go down here, you will see, choose your flight simulator version. It's MS Store or Steam, you name it. For me, it's MS Store. And then check this one, Force High Priority. That will mean that it will start Microsoft Flight Simulator with a high priority usage. And then you can also check this one, Disable Run as Admin check when application starts. You click OK. And if you want to start the flight simulator with the preset that you have selected, you can select all kind of presets with different add-ons active. You just click here on Start, Launch Flight Simulator. Yes, the flight simulator should start soon. And here it is. And here you get the same starting. And now when we go to our, so you can minimize it or you can close it. And if we go to our task manager, so right click and we go to the task manager. Now I have to open it right here. You see here now a flight simulator. Go to details. And then we see here flight simulator is running. And maybe I have to make it a little bit bigger. Flight simulator is running and it should be in high priority. So we get to the set priority and it is set to high. So we can check that there. Now that we have set up our PC with all the tools and tweaks, let's start up the simulator and set our VR settings for a very smooth gameplay. To get to our settings, we have to click here on the top right corner on the gear icon. And then we go to VR, VR graphics. We're going to expand this one and we start at the top. So I am on DLSS Super Resolution for anti-aliasing and I'm choosing DLAA. I got my sharpening at 40, reprojection mode off, world scale 110. That gives me a slightly bigger cockpit and especially for the HP Reverb G2 it looks better. It just looks better. But play with this this scale for your headset, which looks the best for you. Then the low latency is on. Then dynamic settings, I've set that one to off, but you can switch it on. When you're using Auto FPS for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, you have to switch this one off. And then we go to the global rendering quality. Buildings are on high, trees on medium, plants are off. Why do I choose this one to be off? Otherwise you get these plants and bushes popping in all the time when you're flying low level. and that's just a immersion killer of popping implants. So I switched that one to off. Rocks on medium, grass to high. And when we scroll down, and you can make screenshots of this, of course, and then so you can tune your settings as well. Objects level of detail is 100, volumetric clouds on high. Don't go lower than high, don't go to medium or low, because they will look like mashed potatoes. It's high is good, and it has hardly any impact anymore on your FPS. Texture resolution, have that on high. Anisotropic filtering is off because we set it to 16 times in the Nvidia control panel. Texture super sampling, 2x2, that gives the a very good result. You don't have to go any higher. That will only impact your FPS. Water waves to medium, don't set it too high. There's hardly any difference between medium, high and ultra. Medium is good enough. Then I got my shadows maps maxed out and terrain shadows maxed out. You can lower those if you need them, of course. You can go to, oh, let me have to go back in here. That does it all the time. Do you have that too? That it jumps back? 1536 or 1024. I have them at 2K. I like good shadows. Context shadows, I've got them on medium. Windshields effects on high. Ambient occlusion on medium, and then cube matte reflections 192. Rage mask reflections off because they look awful in VR. Light shaft medium, glass cockpit refresh rate high. That gives a very smooth glass cockpit for the MFDs and the PFDs. Traffic airport quality and air traffic, I've set that to off, otherwise you get all the default liveries, and I don't like that. Road traffic, sea traffic and fauna, that's are the animals, all set to medium. So these are my settings, and feel free to copy them. And next we're gonna start up the sim and look at our OpenXR toolkit. Alright guys, one final setting before we can take off here from Mount Beauty in Australia, and that is the OpenXR toolkit, which you can open in the headset. So first of all, you can choose here your FPS, you can choose your sharpening, you can do some sharpening here with CAS sharpening. I prefer to do that in the sim, it looks really good, but you can also choose the sharpening here, set it to 70% or something. But I choose to do that in the sim. Foveated rendering, if you want to use that, that will also increase your FPS. If you just use the preset white, so or performance and pattern white. I'm not using that because it ruins my my recording, as you probably can see. So I set that to off. Turbo mode, that is set in the sim. That's the boost that we have. And frame rate throttling is set to 45. So if you get 45 frames per second with DLSS quality, you give yourself more headroom in the headset and everything will look smoother. The next one is your appearance, post-processing on, so you can play with the contrast, brightness, exposure and the colors, and also for the shadows. I haven't done that for this sim. I like how the colors look. Next one is inputs. I have over prediction reduction to -70%. That makes the headset less shaky when you're turning your head around. So that's, for me, that's a very nice to fly with. Then you go to system, that's the most important one. Override resolution, yes. Display resolution per eye is 2160 by 2116. That is the native resolution of the HP Reverb. Bear in mind, we're upscaling it in the Windows Mixed Reality Toolkit. Motion reprojection is off. Colors, you can play with the colors if you want to. Field of view is all basic same things. Disable mask, the hem mask. I have it disabled because if I do not disable it, you get this binocular view. So I keep it like this. And then in the menu, to get to the hem mask, you have to go to show expert settings. Right, and then you can exit the menu and start flying. Well guys, this was the VR settings guide for Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024. Time to dial in those settings, jump into the simulator, tune all the extra tools and apps that I gave you, and enjoy the performance you will get. At least I hope you will get it. So let me know in a comment below this video how these settings work for you. Did you tune something extra? Do you have some extra tips for me? Love to hear from you. I'm reading all the comments all the time on my videos and try to answer all the questions that are asked. As we fly here in South Africa, and oh, look at that sunrise. Oh, it's beautiful. It's amazing. And look at the light here on the mountains. It's just so beautiful as the sun is coming up. Wow. And I'm flying here with 30 frames per second. Let me check real quick. Let me go here to my FPS counter. Look at that. 28, 29, around 30, and I'm recording now. So let me change it back to off. Alright, there we go. Yeah, I'm loving this. So I hope you get the same performance as I'm getting now. And you can either choose DLAA or DLSS quality if you want more FPS. I'm flying now with DLAA and it's absolutely beautiful. It's butter smooth even when I'm recording. So guys, see you in the next video. This was Mike, VirtuSim. Glad to help you with these VR settings and hope you get everything dialed in with all the apps and tools. Take care and see you in the next video.